So now my female elf looks like David Bowie. You know, that's just what happened. Such is life. Um, Need an excuse for this blackness to be over here, I think. If you think about it, there's, no black lines around people's faces. Do you ever notice that? Cartoons. I'm being a bit facetious, of course. Everyone realizes and appreciates the fact that there are no um, cartoon lines around human beings in reality. But let me see. I need a particular type of light I'm looking for here. But we still do that, right? We still draw with like these cartoon kind of faces and expressions and stuff. So I don't know. The point I'm trying to get at, I guess, is that human beings don't have big, thick black lines around them. But sometimes you draw something like that and you like it and you want to just keep it there. So there's two ways you can go about that. One is to just go ahead and draw it however you want. And, don't worry about being realistic. Doesn't matter. Another way is to make an excuse to actually have some black space around there. Maybe it's dark. Maybe your drawing is in the nighttime. Something like that. Now it's unsymmetrical here. You can see this one, her cheek on this side and the cheek on that side doesn't really match up. And of course, I was in fact being sarcastic when there's a certain subtle sarcasm when I remarked on her being like David Bowie, as if it were no big deal. That is in fact not okay. I like David Bowie, but I just don't want him to be this elf at this point in time. He can be an elf some other time, not today, and not this elf. He can be a different elf. Now, talk about bony, right? We're looking like and I love it. Like I'm not speaking negatively here. We got this kind of what's it called? The Dark Crystal, the Jim Henson movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it now. It's awesome. A Dark Crystal kind of look going on. It's like super bony. One thing I want to do is to get. It's so hard. I don't know how. Yeah. I want to make the color come in. Maybe I can do it with this red. Like when the sun is shining on something and you can see it go through the skin. There's a name for it. Again, in James Gurney's book, he references this. It's very interesting. When the sun comes into the skin, it might go through and it'll bounce around. And that's not just human skin. It could be all objects that you see. But how do you get that shiny kind of feel? So what it means is the light will come in. Let me try and draw this so I can demonstrate that maybe the light is coming in from here, as we can see, and then when it comes in, it's going to bounce all around like waves, right? And that might sound ridiculous or insane to want to try and draw, but actually you see people do it all the time. It's just a technique in painting that I don't know how they do it. I just don't know. But if you get the orange and the yellow from the sun, the orange yellow, I've seen it done 100 times. I just don't know how they do it. Maybe using so it bounces around inside so you can feel it. But sometimes if you just think about something you want to do while you're doing it, then it'll happen. So that's what I'm thinking about. I feel like it's bouncing around in there, and you got all the layers and stuff. Anyway, does she still look like David Bowie? It's getting a little less David Bowie. This eye, if you're wondering why it's like that, you might think, oh, she has a scarred face or something. Maybe she does, but this is not supposed to be a scar. There's supposed to be... it's really frustrating sometimes. This tool. There's hairs supposed to be coming down over this way, being blown by the wind. But yeah, I can always paint them over later. So let me do this part here. It is a frustrating tool. if you think playing a guitar or learning how to play, what's the instrument that's the most annoying? Like maybe a violin. Or violin just, I guess it requires precision, it seems. I've tried it before. Guitar I played for years. I know guitar is in fact difficult, but it's up to you how difficult you want to make it out to be, really. Now, should have black mascara kind of thing going on here, which is okay, but kind of weird at the same time. See, that's what I was talking about right there. All these little annoying things that happen. What the point I'm trying to get at is, think of the most annoying instrument that you could ever try to play, and basically that's what using this software feels like. And that's true for all of them. Doesn't matter if it's Photoshop or GIMP or whatever. It's just so annoying. I wish I could make these black lines go away. Okay. See, now I have to move it back here and then back and forth. It just, nothing ever works. Nothing ever works. Now look at what happened. It got all muddy. Okay. Anyway, we'll figure that part out later. The point was focusing on the eyes now. The lips, if you saw through the time lapse, I was stumbling with them for a while. All these little details, all this time we spend to make something look like a human. And then, what are the results? The most you can really hope to get for is to hit some high points. So, like I was saying earlier, I don't want to be perfect. I don't want to be sketchy. The reason that I stopped what I was actually doing something today, believe it or not. I have goals in my life and all that weird stuff. And I stopped what I was doing. And I said, I'm just going to draw this real quick because I need a break. This is supposed to be a stress reliever, not a stress adder. So I want to keep it simple. I'm using a darker color. Excuse my stutter. Darker color. I'm using a darker color for to go around the edges of the eyes there. That helps to bring out the shape of the eye, the actual circles part of the eyes, not the pupil, but the eye, whatever you call that. It's a pupil and something pleuris, I don't know, whatever it is. It brings out that round shape, the color part of the eye. That's what it's called, the color part of the eye. That's the official name in Wikipedia. Look it up. Yeah. And then there's a bunch of white stuff in there. And you say, why do they put white stuff? Well, it's reflecting light. Of course, we all know that. And on the bottom of the eyes, it's also reflecting, because your eyes are watery. That goes in there. Now the eyes look all shiny and stuff. Which is okay. I don't mind that. And we can tone it down a little bit later. I just, most importantly, want that to be a reminder that something's going on there. Eyelids, okay. Now, back to this, no longer are we David Bowie. Getting back to that dark crystal kind of idea, which I like. What do you think? The eyelids are very important. And a point I was about to make, I didn't finish, is that we're drawing something, it's supposed to be fun, but to at least call it finished and to say, we did something and had a day and have some fun. You want to focus on a couple of key elements. And this is like one of those, you'll notice I slowed down, and it's almost like the teacher in school. There's some things that he says real loud and slow, and that's the one you should write down for the test, right? Because I really mean this one. It's important. And what I'm trying to say here is that you focus on a couple of key elements in your drawing. And what is the result of that going to be? It's going to be you added some focus. You gave a couple of key elements. So now people can look at least one or two things. Their eyes will catch it and say, oh, that's nice. Of course people are going to know, and they're going to notice and look at it and say, oh, there's some parts that are unfinished and sketchy. But that wasn't the key element of the drawing. So, I mean, I could have a random, if I'm drawing like a forest or something, and then off on the left, maybe like everything is sketchy, but off on the left hand side, there's just one random leaf that's really detailed. Well, why? You know, what was the purpose of that? If there was a reason for it, okay. If not, then I guess you'd better make all the other leaves real highly detailed as well. And then after you do that, you know, you're going to spend 5 years drawing all these highly detailed leaves. What was the whole point of it? But we're doing something like this. It was just to make a character. I wanted to play a little bit with the light on the face, and I wanted to play with, you know, making an elf. It's been coming to me just recently as I'm flipping through, looking at other people's art and stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of interesting how they did that elf, but you know, I like this and I like that. I like what other people were doing. Elves are pretty cool, and it just dawned on me, why doesn't anybody ever do it like this? You know, try and make the focus on the cheekbones a bit more. Did you think that an elf is not human? Did you ever realize that? Some people, oh god, and trust me, like I try to be socially correct and stuff, but some people, it just bothers me that you can slap some long ears on a human. You think, oh, there's an elf. But, I mean, the definition of an elf, I don't even know where people get these ideas from. It's kind of weird. I guess TV just ruins everything. It just really, really ruins everything. TV and movies. So, elf, what is an elf? Do you have a clue? An elf is supposed to be a different race, not human. They're also not hobbits. Lo and behold. Not human, not hobbit. But the elves don't have to come from Lord of the Rings either. Elves are a mythical kind of race. Is mythical the word I want to use, or is there another one? They have all kinds of words for these kinds of things. There's not mystical, mythical. Can't remember. Mythology, something like that. It's not mythology though. I think mythical is probably the word. But you also have like folklore, you know, like folklore. That's why I'm trying to find the perfect word. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But they're elves, not just from Lord of the Rings. He might have capitalized on them and, you know, gave them a bit more structure, perhaps. I do believe elves existed before the JR token, I think. Don't quote me on that. That is what I think. Someone might say, well, you're entitled to your thoughts, Brendan, but shut up, because you don't have any facts. And I would say, that's right, so I'm going to change the topic. Keep myself out of trouble. Okay, so all those details. As you can see, one of my key elements I decided to focus on was the eyes, which is a very good choice because human beings have a tendency to look at eyes first. And then, fill this in here. I'm just cleaning up. A lot of it is cleanup work. And then when I zoom in while I'm cleaning up, I just think, oh, well, this should probably be like this, and that should be like that. Bunch of stuff to do. I like the eyes like that. They're kind of like, it could make you think there's a bright light shining. Maybe she's looking at the sun, or blah, 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 whatever. Use your imagination. And that's where the spark really begins sometimes, isn't it? When I force you to use your imagination because you looked at something and you can't really make it out, that's where the imagination comes in. And you have to use your imagination now. I wanted to do something with the eyelids. I was trying to say before too, like there's different ways I can feel the shape. Oh yeah, that's another point I was trying to get around to. Is that this now, because she's not human, right? It's human-like. Elves are human-like. That's why I have these things in here, still like a human, the little red dots. But I want this part to come down, and it's not just for the sake of makeup. I'm trying to suggest that the elves, or at least this particular elf, she is actually, her eyes are actually shaped like that. They come down. I wanted it to be suggested like that, but I'm not sure if it came out so well. Almost like a cat. Or maybe it goes in like this. Because remember, it's a totally different race. It's a different animal. It's just not human. So when we go in there to think along those lines, that's where all the fun and the creativity is going to come out. And still have eyelashes and this and that. So it's a lot of human-like features, but it'll show you how such a subtle difference can change a human into a completely different animal. Just change a couple of these little features. The nose comes down into a point, kind of like that, as opposed to a human nose. That's another thing I wanted to get from looking around at other people's portraits recently. I think it's interesting to use some red here and there, like on the nose, because that's what happens in reality. Maybe it's cold outside, so the nose gets red, and the cheeks can be red in certain parts. That's about it. If I don't like that, I can come back and change it later. Yeah, I think I don't like the cheeks. I'm going to get rid of that now. But the nose, the way that the light... See, again, I'm going back to that idea of where the light shines from within. So light goes inside, and then it bounces around. I get that kind of feeling. If you just think about it. If that's true, then it should bounce over here like this, right? I go over here like this. Maybe that's how it does it, yeah. But how do you know where to put it? It goes around here. I guess you just have to take a wild guess. If it works, it works. If not, it doesn't. I kind of like that. That worked out a little bit. Alright, I'm just going to leave it like here. I'll show you the finished one. I'll work on this a little bit more, and then, at the end of the video, I'll show you the finished one. Because some people, they complain the video is too long, even though I don't care that much. But also, yeah, I don't want to be rambling on. Then, the value deteriorates. Have a good day, and if you have any questions, let me know. You got to get on the, I'm on Facebook. Look for the link for that, please, down below. I don't know where my main source should be. I have the YouTube channel. I have a comic book site, Facebook page. What's the point of all this? When I have advertisements, obviously they make money, and if I had 1 million users or followers or whatever you call them, then something good would come of it. But how does that make it easy for you to be able to follow what's going on if you're interested in what I'm doing at all? You're not obligated, obviously. If you are interested and you want to keep in touch, then you should subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. That way you'll get emails or something from YouTube. And or if you're on Facebook, then you follow me on Facebook. That's in the link below. It's Brendan, SCHU, facebook.com/my name, SCHU, BRENDON, or just look me up, Brendan Schumacher. And yeah, I have to figure that out soon. I have like 20 different things going on. I don't know. Everything has to be somehow or another focused through one of those areas. I have to have one main point of contact, right? That's what I'm basically trying to say. So to figure that out. For now, have a nice day, and just go find me online. I have tons of other stuff. DeviantArt, I'm on there too. Facebook and Twitter, all that stuff. And we'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.